Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 6. So yesterday, I think, from when this video will go up, that marked 5 weeks until The Flash returns to our screens or devices for Season 6. So for some of you, that is going to be a long time. For others, it's not going to be so much. Like, it might go in a flash, I guess you could say. I guess it just depends if they supply us with enough stuff to get excited over, between now and then, as to whether it feels a long time or not. So don't let us down, CW. Give us some stuff to talk about and get excited for. But in this video we are going to go over a few things that were revealed or talked about over the past couple or few days in the world of social media and just the internet in general. So throughout the video, be sure to leave all your various opinions and thoughts in the comments section on the various things we go over. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support and I guess just your hype, for Season 6. Now, the first thing to go over for The Flash in today's video is coming from TV Line. Now, just a heads up, they are set to release their big sort of like fall preview, I guess you could call it, thingy for The Flash soon. Probably the next couple of days, maybe on the weekend. It might wait till then, I'm not too sure. Or it could even be out by the time you see this video. Hopefully not, but it might be. So expect a video on that, when it comes out, where apparently, I'm just saying this, apparently a few castings will be revealed in that for this season of The Flash. Don't know what characters they could be, but apparently there's going to be some castings in there. But the thing to go over from TV Line right now in this video has to do specifically with Iris, as well as the Central City Citizen, or Iris's newspaper or blog thing at the moment. So last week, I think it could be by now, Candice Patton, who of course plays Iris West on The Flash, revealed on Twitter that in episode 5 of this season, or season 6, that she will be rocking her natural hair in the show, which is curly hair. Now, we talked about the history, just to give you a heads up, like she doesn't rock curly hair and is forced to straighten it. It's just that she wanted to do the curly hair and was denied in the past. Like, we talked about the history of this push in a previous video and all of that, but the showrunner of The Flash this season, that being Eric Wallace, has sort of allowed this to happen and also gave us a bit more insight into all of this. And it is pretty much what we guessed would be the case, because it would sort of be random if things just changed all of a sudden. It almost seemed like Iris might have been going through a crisis or something, but this is what Eric had to say. And also, no pun intended with crisis there. But maybe actually I'll give myself that. I did plan that, so let's move on. There's a reason her hair is that way in the story, and it has to do with fun, and Iris just being herself and letting the character show more sides of who she is. It's also about letting Candice show more sides of who she is as a person and as an actress, which is something I support 100%. I love her hair that way. I wouldn't be surprised to see it more than once that way this season. So as we sort of were saying in that previous video I was referring to, it wouldn't have been too surprising if there is actually like a reason as to why Iris would sport, this randomly new curly hair. I mean, since season 1, Iris has rocked straight hair or wavy hair in most recent seasons. Like, it's not curly, it's just like sort of wavy. Like, my hair's wavy, you know what I mean? Nothing to the extent that will be in episode 5, as we've seen on social media. But some of you might be wondering what would be the reason for her rocking this random new hair in episode 5. And seeing that Eric talks about fun and Iris just being herself, it could be a celebration or holiday of some sorts. This episode doesn't fall exactly on Halloween week, but it will be like a week or two after Halloween, so this episode will be, around there. And the DC TV shows or the Arrowverse shows in the past have done their Halloween type episodes, if they do them, around that time. Not necessarily on the actual week or day of Halloween, but maybe a week or so later. So that would make sense as to why the hair would randomly change for that one episode. It could be a costume or just a chilling out sort of period. Obviously, it could be another reason. One I've seen not a lot, but one that is chucked up is that it could be a multiverse version of Iris that just has curly hair. And that is a possibility. Like, it'd be like a 1% possibility, I guess. But when they have talked about this, both Candice and Eric, it seems like they're obviously talking about our Iris, like Earth 1 Iris. So that would be a major not change, like surprise, I guess. It'd be pretty random, I guess. Like, why would this version of Iris come in? And also just the way they're talking about it seems like it's our Iris. So the multiverse sort of thing seems a bit too far of a thing, in my opinion, I guess. But Eric Wallace did follow up with some stuff on Iris, and specifically her journalism stuff as well. Iris's journalism storyline is on fire in the first half of the season. In the season premiere, she'll comment on the fact that, hey, my paper's not real yet. I only have have so many followers. So her paper is going to have to grow up real fast. And it really shouldn't come as like too much of a surprise that Iris and her journalism arc will be in, I guess, like overdrive is probably the best word you could call it, in the opening half of the season, just due to the, well, let's be honest, like lack of development and focus on this with Iris. It would have been pretty damn interesting to see what would have been if Eric Wallace was showrunner for not just this season, and not saying like back in season 1 either, but maybe like since like season 3, if he was the showrunner then and has been there for a few seasons. I don't think we would have seen Iris, let's be honest, waste her time, get no development in Star Labs or anything like that, and just had her character doing what her character should have been doing, which is building up the Central City Citizen, and get to the point where we have that newspaper. Because it's important to remember, this Central City Citizen is like still like it's just sprouted from its seed, nowhere near being a fully grown flower or plant. And in what, X amount of episodes, like 10 episodes or something, there's meant to be an article where they're like the thing that's put down in history. Like, they're the article that goes down in history for whatever happens in Crisis, whether it's Flash vanishes, Green Arrow vanishes, Bebo saves the world, whatever it might be. Central City Citizen is, you know, the newspaper that goes down in history for that. So it's going to be interesting to see how fast they move through this and whether they skip over anything in this arc, possibly. We know that there's going to be characters around Iris in this newspaper thing, which should help her. Like, they're not going to be, you know, Barry or Ralph or Cecile. They're going to be new characters by the sounds of it. And also Camilla will be there. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's handled. But I have faith in Eric Wallace. I think he's doing a good job so far from what we've, you know, been teased about and already know that's going to happen. So fingers crossed, I guess. But speaking of Eric, he did go on to say a couple of other things. He actually talked about Cecile, and this is what he said. If you loved Cecile last season, you're going to love her even more soon. In the first part of season 6, she's going to open up, explore her powers, and figure out what her responsibility is as a hero in her own right. Now, awkward thing when you say if you love Cecile last season, because Cecile was a pretty, like she was like a jigsaw, like a jigsaw of a character last season, because in that absence of Joe, you know, because obviously Jesse L. Martin, who plays Joe, hurt his back and was gone for a while, Cecile basically turned into like an amalgam character, like where it was Joe and Cecile merged. And if Cecile was there, she was pretty much saying a lot of Joe's lines, or if Joe was meant to have an important scene, Cecile would come in, or I think Barry replaced Joe in some scenes with certain characters. So Cecile sort of struggled last season. I think she... obviously that thing with Joe was a bit of an issue, so hopefully they can fix that up this season. Last season she was a regular when I didn't think she would need to be, but once again the Joe thing could have affected that because I felt like she wasn't even on screen that much anyway. But let's see what they do this season. I'm interested to see what they do with the powers thing, whether will it affect Crisis. I don't know, it'd be weird if Cecile's like randomly suiting up with her like her powers aren't like very action orientated, if you know what I mean. They're more just like it would help her as a, you know, the DA and stuff. So yeah, let's see what they do, I guess. But yeah, as I was saying about Joe, Eric Wallace talked about Joe as well, and he said the stakes are bigger than ever because it's not just Team Flash and the West Allen family that Joe has to supervise. It's all of Central City. Now, he's obviously referring to Joe's new role as the captain of the CCPD, and we sort of thought this would be the case. Like, it wouldn't really make too much sense if Joe's got this brand new position, but he's still walking into Star Labs all the time. You know, he's pretty much got to be at the CCPD most of the time, unless there's something big happening where he would leave. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how much they do with Joe this season. We haven't really heard much about him, to be completely honest, in other interviews. So it seems like he's pretty much not going to be in Star Labs at all, unless it's at like night or something, or he has a specific reason to be there. He's just not going to hang out there like we've seen him do in the past. So yeah, but we do have a couple of questions to go over. One of them is hilarious. I couldn't believe it, but we'll just quickly go over those questions that some of you guys left. So Shades Games asked, I think Vibe will get his powers from Apartment 4 because the fourth letter in the alphabet is D. The only one who has a D as the first letter of any of their names is Ralph Dibny. Ralph's power is to stretch. When Cisco got rid of his powers, his DNA was stretched and then reformed without the meta gene. So clearly Cisco will get his powers from Apartment 4. Thoughts? Shades Game, I think you just broke the Illuminati curse and have possibly broken the theory base around Apartment 4. My mind is slowly melting. You might not see this video because I might not be able to edit it. So let's just move on before I get just more disorientated by that and that massive reveal, because wow, I can't believe it. Cinema Sins Naija, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. If I ever haven't, my fault. Do you think we'll get an alternate version of Wally West after Crisis? Maybe the Ginger one from the comics. It won't be Ginger because it's important to remember the Wests, no matter what Earth you'd be on, would still be African American. Like the mother and father are both. It's not like a mixed race family. So Ginger, unless Kenneth Lonsdale, it's another black Wally that dyes his hair red or ginger, which would be random, but that might be the case. But it won't be like the ginger white one from the comics, if that's what you're wondering about. And Alan the Alien asked, what happened to Linda Park? Well, what, Coast City she went to? Because Zoom was trying to kill her, so she went to Coast City. I think that's the answer. Let's lock it in. Oh, I won $1 million. There we go. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and it shows support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on what we went over in this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.